Hey guys, Evan Rock here, back in another video. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Bandai 6-inch Gigan figure. So this is one of the recent reissue figures. I don't want to say it's so recent, however it is definitely in there in terms of the field of recent reissue figures, and it's something that I certainly was looking at, I was interested in getting, but I never really did end up getting, and I thought, why not get it now? Because at the time I got this, similar to when I got the Godzilla Ultima figure, I had a $50 Amazon gift card, so I got this and the Godzilla Ultima figure, and that's where I made that double box day video I made a while back. However, this is the Gigan Bandai figure, and I have a lot of pros, a lot of cons, so yeah, let's get into it. The first pro I have to say right off the bat in terms of my favorite thing I like about this figure, it honestly has to be the paint job. I feel like the paint job on this figure is really, really well done due to its booming colors. I think the yellow and the gold stands out as the most booming, but there are other elements too. You really only have four main colors, however. You have silver, right here, like a whitish, like silver. Then you have green, and then you have yellow, goldish yellow, and then you have red. And the red is a booming color. I mean, that's just no doubt. It's not like some sort of a darkish red. This is a light red that makes up his eyes or his heat ray, and it's really nice. It's really, really nice. Right here, we have a nice golden yellow. That's, I think, is the biggest booming color of all. So this is definitely above average. Silver is kind of just there. However, one thing I will say in favor of the silver color is that the shading from the green into the silver is really, really nice. It's not too much of just a sudden switch of colors, which, as you guys know, I'm not really a big fan of. It's not too much of a shade. It could have been a little bit more shaded, but it's enough to be satisfied with it. It's like going into the green and then the whitish silver, and it does that with this claw too. Maybe not with the chainsaw, but I couldn't really see how they do that with the chainsaw because it wouldn't be accurate to the original design, while this would in terms of transitioning colors. And then same thing here, by the way, with the foot claw. Good transitioning colors from green to silver. So yeah, let's move on to the next thing I like about this figure. So the next thing I like about this figure is the detail. Now the detail on this figure is slightly above average. The paint job was definitely above average, however the detail is slightly above average. I say that because the only real details you can get from this are the scales on the yellow, which, as I said, make up a good majority of the figure, so that's why it's slightly above average and not just average. But you can really make out those scales all over the golden yellow, besides, of course, this. But when it comes to the flaps, you still get detail because you have these lines. These stand out. You can actually feel the lines. It's not like it's imprinted into the figure. It kind of is like a stand-out kind of a thing. So you have these lines, but then on the other parts of the gold, you have the scales, the yellow scales. And then you have these green creases of skin, which I like, because, as I said, very movie accurate to the suits and to this, skin. And you have that right here with the green. More creases all across the body. Facial detail is just pretty, it's average. As I said, the detail, in general is slightly above average, but facial detail is just bland. Because there's not really that much detail. The closest thing you get to detail are, like, you can slightly make out teeth right here. But why wouldn't they do that for the rest of the beak? That's kind of confusing. And I wouldn't even give that a nitpick. It's just something that I kind of question. But yeah, you have pretty good detail in this figure. So let's get into the cons of this figure. So when it comes to the cons, I have a very, very similar status of cons to this figure as I did with Godzilla Ultima, and that is the biggest con of all, the articulation. Again, you guys keep noticing that I'm not putting articulation as a pro, like I usually do, and that's because Bandai, at least with their most recent reissues, aren't really the best in terms of articulation. I noticed that the Cottom line didn't even have any. But more specifically, figures, Cottom is like, those are like, the Cottom line was a brand new design of figures, and most G fans agree that it's bad. It was pretty bad, as I do as well. But here's the thing, the reissues are better, but they still don't have enough articulation. And what I mean by that is this. Look, you have the arms, they go 360. That's good. Legs, they go 360. And I don't even have to show you the opposite of the arms and the legs. They all go 360. But you don't have any other articulated joints. None. And what I mean by that, again, 5 joints of articulation is the average joints of articulation. It's at least the amount of articulated joints a Bandai figure should have. At least. In my opinion, a good Bandai figure, a good Bandai figure when it comes to articulation, like, it being up there is one of the biggest pros, you'd have 8 or 9 joints of articulation. And Bandai doesn't do that often. That's the problem I have with Bandai, the articulation. And again, I know these figures aren't supposed to be like SH Monster Arts or NECA, but still, they should really use more articulated joints when they have the opportunities to. And if I mind giving examples of that opportunities, right here, this is a glue seal. You'd think the tail can move, but it's not. It's a glue seal. Similar to the Godzilla Ultima figure I reviewed last week. And the head too, you could have had a head joint, and that would have been 7 joints of articulation, or no, 6 I think, but it still would have been above 5. I would have given it a pro, and then the articulation would have been a problem, but it is, and that's unfortunate. There are no other cons with this, so I'm going to be giving this the exact same rate as the Godzilla Ultima figure, and that is I'm going to be rating this figure a 9 out of 10. I would definitely recommend getting this. I wouldn't use the articulation as the main reason not to get this, because you're still not going to find any other recent Bandai figures that have come out and have a different kind of scenario when it comes to articulation. Almost any and all recent Bandai figures that have been released by Bandai are all having the same problem, and that is that they have 4 joints of articulation, like this one. So again, if you're gonna just look at the articulation con and say I'm gonna get a different Bandai figure, don't even bother, because again, a lot of the recent Bandai figures are like in the same scenario, the same boat as this one. So yeah. Anywho, guys, I'd still recommend getting it because it's a classic figure, a 9 out of 10, despite it, you know, having a good chunk of the rate taken away because of articulation. It's still a very good rate. So yeah, I'd still definitely recommend this figure, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later. Bye-bye.